Good morning. It's 5:16 a.m. on December 27th, 2020, and I am putting in a special request to the President and the Congress of the United States. On September 27th, 2019, I submitted a comment to the public comment to the Federal Reserve regarding risk-based capital requirements for depository institution holding companies significantly engaged in insurance activities. R-1673. I understand it was a bit confrontational, but under the circumstances, I thought it was appropriate. I didn't understand what was going on with the political volleying that has been ongoing for the last 4 years overtly, that I've been sentient and aware of because I was not on drugs. And I was concerned because there is this high stakes speculation that goes on involving the legislature and the executive departments, and it seems to have unduly influenced the judiciary as well, which leaves people like me very little recourse. Now, I've known for some time that there is manipulation and disingenuous efforts afoot regarding the pension system. Last year, actually earlier this year, 2020, what would have been for my 2019 tax return, I had need to contact the IRS, and they informed me that when I was a civil service employee, the Department of Public Health in San Francisco, that I was sent a check for what was supposed to be the cashing out of my retirement benefits from the time I did work. I never even found out about that check. Nobody told me. I've had need to contact my former employer for several reasons over the course of the last several years. They never let me know that I had an uncashed retirement check. My understanding is that if it had been uncashed for over 6 months, they would have had need to cancel it by law. It's just a kind of thing that's part of policy. But in all of my attempts to contact them about all of the various matters, never once was it discussed with me, why didn't you ever cash your retirement check? Which leads me to believe it was cashed and not by me. But because nobody has responded to me on any level about any matter for several years, I cannot verify that. All the verification I have is that the Internal Revenue Service reports that somebody sent to the IRS confirmation that I was issued a check for the cashing out of my retirement benefits from when I was a civil service employee working for a city and county institution related to the Department of Public Health, which, if nothing else, received appropriations from the Health and Human Services Department, uh, including in connection with the specific job functions I provided when I was employed as a civil service employee. It just so happens that the amount of the check that I was told was issued to me has the same number as a form for the Government Service Administration. GSA Form 1458. Motor Vehicle Maintenance, Repair, and Service Purchase Order. Now, when I worked at the job prior to the one I got as a civil service employee, when I was working for a third party contractor of services for that same department, part of what I had to do was keep logs on the city's vehicle fleet for that department. When people needed a car, they would contact me. I would schedule it, would make sure they signed out the keys, make sure they got the fuel card. That was part of my job function. But that was prior to my employ as a civil service employee, where I worked in compliance. Now, since then, I've learned a lot about special purpose vehicles and the role they play in the federal budgeting process. I'm making a personal request that is a matter of correction for the error. And seeing as how this entire year the people of the United States have been trafficked as part of a failure to adequately respond to egregious errors in accounting concerning the federal appropriations process, that you provide $1,458 per person as relief. Give us ownership of our own government service vehicle, at least insofar as it concerns maintenance, repair, and service. If the government is going to claim us for their fleet, we should at least have a record with the IRS that we've been provided with a means by which to acquire maintenance, repair, and service whenever necessary, don't you think? It beats Medicare fraud and the state kickback scheme that seems to be at work in this current volleying. Be honest and forthright. Rounded numbers have a certain charm to them, but when it comes to actually accounting for what we're dealing with in order to maintain a long term commitment like the one apparently I was signed up for, it really makes a difference when you actually acknowledge the investment. It's now 6:22 a.m. on December 27th, 2020. I am certain that before this very important deadline, December 31st, 2020 comes along, you all will make all of the right decisions and you all will finally figure out how to bring things together to demonstrate you actually did have an intention of upholding the Constitution and performance of your duties, as opposed to whatever else it rounds to the nearest zero on.